Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections for Friday, the 3rd of March. So let's get straight into it. So the first bet, I'm going for a win bet. And as you can see, it's the one based in the middle of the screen. I'm showing you that so you can see the stakes. So here we go. There's 4 selections. So I've had these in 75 pence win doubles, and that comes to £4.50. I've then included them in 25p win trebles, that comes to £1, and then 25p win fourfold. Yep. Then below you can see I've had a £4 win single on what I believe to be the most likely winner out of all 4 of them. If that horse wins, it pays for the bet and you win a fiver. There will be another bet later on, and I shall talk you through that in a second. You can see that on the right, but let's get into it. So these are the selections. If you want to see the stakes again, you have to rewind the video and have a look at the stakes again. So here are the horses. The first selection is Ballygeary. I've taken the price. It's 7-4 in the 125 at Doncaster. I did tip the favourite up last time, Circus Act, and it won. But I do think it kind of poached a bit of a lead or got first run on them. Well, this Ballygeary is giving Circus Act loads of weight. But I do think if it comes to a duel, that this horse could actually out-battle it, especially if it's from a long way out. And Brian Hughes is on board. I don't normally go for Brian Hughes that often, but I do think in what you could call a match bet, 7-4, I think it's the value selection. So the second selection is Nothing to Ask at 11-4 in the 325 at Newbury. This horse, up until pulling up last time, was improving all the time. Well, the 2 horses it's up against are in better form, but I believe, like the others that I tipped in the last few days, I believe this horse's opponents are handicapped right up to what they've achieved so far, so they need to improve. However, this horse does need to bounce back from its disappointing run last time, although I believe it was running in more competitive company. It's got Paddy Brennan on board, and I just think it's got a cracking chance. And I'm not convinced whether the other 2 stay this 2 mile, 4.5 furlong exactly. Ideally, anyway. So yeah, I do think there's a lot more ticks basically in this horse's column than the other horses. The third selection is Hawthorne Cottage at 5-2 in the 420 at Doncaster, and the final selection is one I tipped last time, and it's quite clear that, how do I put this? It wasn't run over its favourite distance, and today it is. Now it's handicapping. I've taken the price at 11-4. If I'm being honest, it could be any price. It could be 6-4. It could be 7s. I've taken the price just so I know where I stand. So Ernest Gray at 11-4 in the 450 at Doncaster. And as I said, finally, Nothing to Ask was the nap. So I've had a £4 win. The total stake of this bet, I believe it to be £10. And as you can see, it's a £15 return. So we'll win £5 on the entire bet should this horse win its race. And it pays for the entire bet. So let's talk about the next bet. I haven't actually put this bet on yet. This is the each way bet, and it's generally, sorry, it isn't generally, no. I've had 2 on the all-weather and 2 over the jumps. So you decide what you want, but all selections are each way. The first selection is Capstan. I've left the price because it's Lydia Richards. I think it's probably one of the best horses she's got in training, but she's got it from Michael Stout. You'd have thought she'd have kept it for a flat campaign, but clearly she fancies it for a bit of a hurdles campaign or a summer hurdles campaign. She started it off now, and there are some trainers with like some big name trainers in there, like Nicky Henderson, for example. So you'd have thought this horse would probably drift with it being Lydia Richards. So I think it's rated 74 on the flat. It's well bred, and if it takes to jumping, yeah, could be a nice recruit or could definitely be worth a place. So that's Capstan in the 250 at Newbury. The second selection is Molyneux. I've taken the price because I thought it might have been a little bit smaller than this. Don't get me wrong, it could return 20s. So Molyneux at 12-1 in a 10 past 3 at Doncaster, paying 4 places instead of 3. Well, this horse was generally running over shorter a while back, over Chase Fences. And then it looks like they kind of maybe like either decided to kind of retire it or give it a bit of fun point to pointing. Well, it's absolutely it's running like really decent races in the point to point scene, regularly either winning or coming play. So I'm thinking they've freshened it up and it's enjoyed it and it's really like booking and kicking again. That's when I don't know this. I'm just thinking like why bring it back? So they clearly think that it could possibly win one of these veterans races. So yeah, the Tizzards, they've got their heads screwed on, so they wouldn't have brought it back for nothing. So I definitely think it's an interesting horse. The third selection is Dark Chris. I've left the price. It's in the 10 past 4 at Lingfield. It's the joint best horse in the race. It's a bit of a stinker last time where it went off too quick or ran too free. It does tend to run free, but this time I think it could. Hopefully, now it's got a race under its belt. Ellie Mae Croot takes a ride. She takes a further £7 off it as well. I think if you can control this horse, it could be very hard to beat. It's a dreadful race, and it's got headgear, tongue strap, and cheek pieces on. I don't think there's anything else left really that can get on his head. So yeah, definitely an interesting horse. If you can just like hold it back very slightly, or restrain it's the word. If you can restrain it early on, so you can get maybe if you can get an easy lead, I think it's got every chance of making all. That's what I'm trying to say basically. And finally, Oriental Lily at 25-1 in the 5:45 at Newcastle, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse has been messed around with. This horse kind of like shouts non-stare all day. But I just don't know why they haven't got the regular jockey on it and they've got Joanna Mason on it. At 25-1, in my opinion, it's too big. I think possibly, if anybody's interested in about having another bet, go to the Racing Post, go to the race in the Racing Post, click on Jim Goldie, and you'll see he's got 2 other runners. One's 2s and one's 4s, and this one's 25s. He might be tempted to go for a treble, although I haven't had that bet. But I do think Oriental Lily, I backed it a few times where it's been unlucky or rather like dodgily, it's ran into trouble when I'm thinking it could have got a better run. Do I think it says a mile? Well, let's be honest. Horses don't have to stay to get a place. Or they don't even have to stay the distance to win the race. The legs just have to go faster for longer than the other horses, if you get what I mean. It might sound daft, but I think this horse could sneak a race. Sneak a place. It will be held up, and it could come with. It's a bad race. It could come with a late run and sneak a place minimum. So those are the bets. It's going to be probably for me. It's going to be each way. It isn't going to be a Yankee. It's going to be each way doubles, higher stake, lower stake, each way trebles, and then an each way accumulator. I might even have a bit on each one of them to win different stakes. I don't know, but you decide what you want. But those are the selections for Friday. I'm hoping for a bumper selection on Saturday. Let's have one final half-decent bet before the Cheltenham Festival. And I'm just beginning to have a really good delve into the Cheltenham form. So that after 8 minutes in, if you're still knocking around, give me a like or subscribe. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Fingers crossed, the very best of luck for Friday. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.